It's early evening in Alachua County. I'm the Philosopher Pirate, and this is Florida at Large. I usually shoot this video, well, at least in my infancy now of this channel, in the mornings, but I was having some trouble with equipment, and then I was busy with work. I'm hoping that this will be my only work, and it is a lot of work, believe it or not. I'm lucky that, or fortunate, or maybe just that I applied myself in my lifetime, that I'm pretty good at handling technical issues. A corrupted memory. I don't have any spare SD cards with me. It's the end of the month, so I don't have a lot of extra funds to go out and spend money at exorbitant prices, and didn't have the time to wait for Amazon to ship me. So I had to copy all the data, recover some partially corrupted videos, apparently from the overheating camera yesterday or the day before when I was in the hot sun filming the ahi tuna. Anyways, appears everything's working okay now. And victory, absolute victory. But before that, another $5 anonymous donation, a cup of coffee thing. Thank you very much, whoever you may be. Also received a $50 donation, not specifying what I should use it for, but probably fuel tank would be the most likely. I appreciate support and hope to get to the revenue as fast as possible. New subscribers are now up to 28. Only have, 972 to go before I get a percentage of revenue from the advertising. I'm not even worried about the page views. According to, it looks like the statistics are behind a day or two on Google, YouTube Analytics or whatever, because I know I have more page views, and I also know that I have more, impressions and so forth than what they're displaying on the analytics page. But just from adding the ones on the, if you actually watch YouTube and it shows you how many, and then just from the number of people contacting me via email and so forth, it's got to be higher than what they're telling me. But in any case, I know I crossed 1,000 views sometime this morning, wee hours of this morning, and I really appreciate it. Doing better than I expected. I'm gonna keep doing what I'm doing, but again, I gotta keep paying my bills too, so I have to do some work. In the meantime, and that's what I was busy with today. Besides issues, victory. Now, it's not a complete victory, but all 9 parks can breathe a sigh of relief under this great outdoor Florida initiative or Florida Parks initiative or whatever. Part of that initiative I was very happy with. Half price admissions, half price fishing. That part of the initiative was fantastic. But this part of the initiative that was kind of snuck in. And the strange thing is, Governor DeSantis blamed, he's saying that he never saw the document, didn't go across his desk, he didn't approve it, yet his own aides were pushing it, pushing this, this development agenda, this destruction of parks agenda. And now he stated in a press conference with Ashley Moody, Attorney General Ashley Moody, and also Sheriff Grady Judd, Polk County, one of the larger counties geographically in Florida, but they have a serious crime problem with fentanyl, and just like Leon County does, state capital, and the other rest of the country too. This is not just a Florida thing. The fentanyl issue is out of control, and many people know it. And I have some videos on that as well that I've already shot. I just need to do some editing and get those released. But DeSantis, Governor DeSantis, I apologize, I'm be respectful. And I actually like the governor overall, but on this issue, no. He stated in the press conference, intentionally leaked out to a left wing group. So he's basically saying one of the people that works for the Florida Department of Environmental Protection leaked these documents out to a left-wing group for the destructive development of the parks, these 9 parks. Here's the problem I have with this whole thing. First of all, I have 2 problems. First of all, This sounds like a little Hillary Clinton-esque. With all due respect, Secretary of State Clinton, Senator Clinton, Ms. Clinton, if I'm using the right pronoun. With all due respect, uh, you know, she stated vast right-wing conspiracy, which is just as ridiculous as this. So I'm going to leave that at that. The second part of the issue I have with Governor DeSantis, speaking off the cuff, so sometimes I made a mistake yesterday. The gentleman I criticized was from Rome, Georgia, not Roswell, Georgia. I was corrected, not by him, but by listeners and viewers like yourselves. But why were the documents created in the first place? That's basic. I don't want to use too many words. But why were the documents created in the first place so that they could be leaked? And then why was his own staff pushing the idea? Actually came across the only, well, I heard it actually secondhand, but it was an official, and I'm not going to repeat the official's name and anything because I didn't talk to them myself. And I don't want to be like other journalists, but I do want to say, and this may or may not be true. I'm going to condition it as well. But what was said was the only argument I heard supporting this issue because free enterprise and capitalist people don't support this idea. Conservationists, which also includes people in that group, preservationists, which also includes people in that group, but there are some who lean the other way and or in a different way, like the Sierra Club and organizations like that. They were all in alignment against this. The only supporters of it were big corporate interests and big governmental interests, big organizations. Small business was generally against this, is what I discovered from my research and also communicating with people, conservation, preservation groups, and so forth, and park people that enjoy the parks like me. The parks are already busy enough. When I visit the springs and try to swim in the summer times, or in the weekends, it's like swimming through an obstacle course of people. You can't really swim. You're just kind of waiting and hovering and treading water because it is so busy. The beaches, it's hard to find a place to park. If one doesn't arrive early, like at a Walton County State Park beach, before opening, might not get a parking space. And then the park rangers ride around on golf carts and Kawasaki mules, these little miniature pickup trucks and things. They drive around counting parking spaces so they can go back up to the gate and let a couple more cars in. The Henderson Beach, that's just outside of Dustin, Florida. Beautiful beach, by the way. The parking lot is giant, absolutely huge. It fills. And then they have to block the rangers have to block the entrance. So the parks are already extremely busy. Why do you need more people? You don't need more people. And so this whole thing was basically to enrich somebody. And I plan to keep investigating. Also, I was told by some individuals I spoke with that I've been visiting protesters, park goers, phone calls to government officials. Local governments, by the way, were against this as well because they're going to have more calls to service for their fire rescue, first responders, basically, and police officers because you have a 350-room resort hotel. You're, of course, going to have more crime. You're going to have more medical emergencies. And so that puts more strain on the local communities. And some of these parks are not near giant hospitals or giant metropolitan areas, and this puts stress on these small communities. This was another thing that small governmental bodies were against this. The only ones that were for this park so-called destructive development were this initiative were big corporate, or it's the donors, payback donors, or to acquire donors by giving a developer or whatever a big contract. This has to be what this is all about. But one of the things I did hear in passing, and I'm going to research this as well, maybe some of you can let me know, under Governor Scott, Rick Scott, the current senator, now he has publicly said he had questions or deep reservations or one of those words that politicians use, phrases, about the actual, the current situation. But apparently, under his administration at Paynes Prairie, and that's why I'm here today, I'm at Paynes Prairie in the parking lot. I hope I'm not after hours yet. I'm still okay. Uh, it's not sunset yet, but it's a little dim outside because there's currently just sprinkles, but some little thunder rumbling. Rick Scott, actually under his administration, possibly under the Christ administration, under that administration. I'm going to do some research, but the folks that I spoke with, and they're not work directly with the parks, or nor are they volunteers. I don't want to single anyone out. These are people that have been staying here for years, seasonally, in this park. They bring their RV here from different places. Some of them are Floridians, some of them, Canadians and other parts of the United States, and they come and stay in their RV, visit, I should say, better grammar, visit in their RV and enjoy the park on an annual basis. And they informed me that the golf course idea is nothing new. It was proposed that there be a championship golf course right here at Paynes Prairie State Park. Beautiful place, by the way. I shot some nice wildlife video today while waiting on corrupted file repairs that I was doing. I believe I saved them. A little bit of editing, I can fix the videos. I don't know how they got corrupted. It must have just been from the sunlight heating. Find a way to remedy that, or have. I guess I'm going to have to purchase it a very expensive anyways, that's something for me to do a little research on. I enjoy doing that, actually. That's what I do. I'm an engineer, technician, scientist, and now a journalist. The whole idea was just, and basically it's been scrapped, but Governor DeSantis, you can do better. I'm going to challenge you, Governor DeSantis. You scrapped it only till the end of the year. Now, there's an interesting thing about the end of the year. That's end of December, basically. Then January 1st, I'm not trying to sound like I'm talking to a sixth grader, but January 1st is the beginning of the new year. But what happens in November this year? And who's running for re-election? Not Governor DeSantis has been run again, and it wouldn't be his year anyhow. It is Senator Rick Scott. Now, he was governor apparently when the golf course thing idea happened before, but he basically made a statement of some respect to deep reservations because the election hasn't happened yet. And Governor DeSantis, by delaying it till for the rest of this year, basically you're just delaying it till after the election, maybe to protect people like Rick Scott. Now, again, Senator Rick Scott, I apologize. Be respectful. And I'm not just want to attack Republicans on this. I'm sure I can find Democrats that are profiting from this as well. But these are just this is what I've been told by individuals that I've been speaking with throughout Florida in my travels. So there's something funny going on here. My proposal is to you, Governor DeSantis, let's change the law. Let's put something in the Florida statutes. I challenge you to introduce the bill that the parks will basically remain the same and will require almost a constitutional amendment type situation, a referendum. 60% of the people in Florida, the entire state, has to vote for a major change. Now, increasing the number of campsites, tent spaces, that type of thing, repairing existing restroom facilities, making parks more handicap accessible. I don't think that should require any special legislation or anything. I think you just do it. I see handicapped people, they can only go so far in their wheelchairs, and then they're stuck. They can't go any further. Now, granted, parks are wild, they're wilderness, and sometimes, you can't make everything handicap accessible. There's some places I look at it, and I say, you can definitely make this handicap accessible. Why haven't you done it yet? The restrooms, if you maybe build some larger restrooms because they often get very busy, and then the staff cannot maintain the cleaning because of the heavy traffic. And don't just have one stall, please, in the ladies' room or the men's room. Some people have colostomy bags and bladder bags and things like that, and they take forever in the stall. And then someone else that needs to go potty has to wait forever, and it just creates an uncomfortable situation. Have multiple stalls and restrooms in public places. That's another little challenge I give you, and the state parks as well. There are people that have issues, and let's be a little more accommodating to those people that have issues. And I do want to compliment that many of the men's rooms have changing tables now, as well as the ladies' rooms, because a lot of children visit these parks as well. So that's a great thing that I'm seeing, and I appreciate it. The litter, it's hard to find litter in the state park. Governor DeSantis, great job. Great job on that. It is hard to find litter. Your initiative for litter, and also the rest stops, hard to find litter. And the education program with regard to litter, I appreciate the signage. Basically, the sign states, for those of you who hadn't visited the state parks, please leave nothing behind other than footprints and great memories. And that's the signage is kind of geared towards. Not exactly in that. Well, that's how I would write it, but they're kind of like that. And but that's the whole thing on the parks. I try not to be too long here. I have a couple other subjects, but I'm just going to go with one. I'm a tech guy, cybersecurity and so forth. I've had my identity compromised. But that's because I was mandated by the Florida statutes to compromise my identity by healthcare workers, and that's a whole story. And I'm going to give a lot of detail on that, and but I have to acquire an attorney first if that's going to be necessary. I'm going to give my adversaries a chance to settle, see what happens before I acquire an attorney. And I would also like to see the law changed, and I may lobby for that using this venue. Is cybersecurity on Ars Technica, and Ars is the word used from the 1100s. Basically, it evolved into the word ass, posterior region. It is from early modern English or late Middle English. In Britain, in many places, it's still pronounced Ars. It means the same damn thing. Language. Anyways, Ars Technica is actually not a bad website for techies, and those white hat and gray hat hackers. Anyways, it's a scheme. Let me see if I can find one on my cell phone here. It's a scheme using a cell phone and a credit card, and basically, this nefarious party inserts software, side loads it, or loads it when you're not looking, on your telephone. This software communicates with the the near field communications, on your phone. Communicates with that. Now, the whole idea of the software is most people throw their cell phone in their purse with their credit cards. The credit cards have a chip on them, an RF, radio frequency activated chip. So when radio frequency actually powers the chip, and then it communicates. It communicates that credit card information to the telephone. The telephone can receive that information and even store it. And then with Apple Pay and Google Pay and Samsung Pay and these payment avenues, you can actually use your phone to pay, with tap on these things, or you can use the card itself. Well, if this nefarious software is somehow installed by you being tricked on a website or something to download it and install it, and then your phone will ask you to bypass not going through the Play Store. This is on an Android. This won't happen on an Apple product, but there's a different way it can be loaded on those phones. But in any case, the Android phones are more vulnerable. If you store those, I would recommend getting those card sleeves, or have a blocker card. That's a card that you can insert around your other cards, and it basically just kind of scrambles all the RF stuff. It absorbs it and sends back all kind of crazy signals. It makes it very difficult for someone to do something nefarious with your. I apologize. There's bugs here. It's the swamp. It's a giant swamp basically, but it's beautiful. The way this hack was done, it was done only in the Czech Republic. You'll receive a phone call and an individual will say, we want to verify your account. We need the PIN number for your ATM debit card. And could you please hold your card next to your phone while you're giving it to us? That will allow us to verify the information. And the last, and your date of birth also would be helpful, and your zip code, your postal code. And you're providing them enough information. So now you got to understand this, and this near field RF frequency tapping you pay not only works for a short period of time, it generates a unique code just for that period of time. So they actually have to make the transaction at the same time. And what's being done is they're standing next to an ATM machine, an automated teller machine. ATM. They're standing next to that machine. So when you provide them the information, you hold the card up next to your phone, it transmits it through the nefarious software that's on your phone to their phone, and then they tap the phone on the ATM, automated teller machine, and then they withdraw $500 cash. And then you hear the beeping in the background because they're touching in your PIN, your personal identification number that you provided to them. And then you hear the beeping, and then they tell you everything's okay. All of your information has been confirmed. Thank you very much, and you are perfectly secure. That's what they'll tell you, and then they'll gently press the terminate call button, and they'll walk as normally as they can back to their vehicle, bicycle, whatever, and ride off to the next ATM so they can pay. And because of COVID and everything, they're probably wearing a mask. Not in New York City anymore, though, or something. What is this? I don't know what it is. One of the counties, Nassau County or something, and they made it illegal to wear a mask. This is going to be interesting to see how this goes. And I read today that the first person was arrested for not wearing a mask and was also caught with a 14-inch knife. This is New York. I'm trying to make the show about Florida. But my question I have is, did it have a 14-inch blade, or was it 14 inches overall? Because a 14-inch blade, that would be like a small sword. It would be a knife. Maybe a Crocodile Dundee knife. Anyways, that's basically, the episode for today. This one's going to be an evening rambling because it's evening and it's also stormy. So it could be a stormy rambling. But be careful with your credit cards. Use those credit card sleeves. I'm going to include a link to. I don't receive any money from, this is not an endorsement. These are just ones I found that personally work for me. Use the sleeves and also the blocker. I'll send you a link. I'll attach it to this video. Maybe not right away, but it will be there within a day or two. And so you can find those type of products that will protect you more or less. And also, if someone calls you and starts asking you to provide them with confidential financial information, personal information, private information, and then further is asking you to hold your card next to your phone, that's not your bank. And then, that's someone trying to take advantage of you, and don't fall for it. Try to obtain as much information as you can about them, phone number and so forth, and maybe take a photograph with another phone, screenshot, and then get rid of them and contact them. And because obviously your phone has likely been compromised, or they may prompt you to actually download the software. They'll tell you to go to a website, download the software, and then bypass the protocols that want you to download everything through the Play Store, Google Play Store. So be very careful of those type of things. No one should be asking you to do that kind of thing. If you're having trouble with your phone or your bank account, you should be making the phone call first. And then from there, you might receive instructions. If they seem a little shaky, ask them, why are you asking me for this information? What does this have to do with my issue? And then the other reason is, and this is another thing I'm going to talk about, you may be able to trust Google. You may be able to trust Apple. You may be able to trust Microsoft. You may be able to trust Circle K. But can you trust every single employee that works for you? And that's the problem I have with the way data is being handled today. Almost as if we need some special privacy legislation to protect people, to protect the individual. Companies have way too much information and make it seem like it's mandatory, and the government has way too much. Maybe we, as individuals, we might want to start questioning some of this. It is gotten way out of hand. 2.9 billion big hack, and there's just another one with a bank I just read, and another one with a big grocery chain. I mean, it's every day. So be very careful with your personal and private credentials. And when healthcare workers ask you for all these things, question it. Like I did, and I was told I'd be non-compliant. But a whole other issue, and I'm going to do the best I can using the civil legal system and the criminal legal system and perhaps politicking to remedy this situation, so it won't happen to others. Well, that's the conclusion of my episode. I'm the Philosopher Pirate. This is Florida at Large. It's early evening in Alachua County.